The stage lights blazed down on the set of Jimmy Kimmel Live, the audience buzzing with anticipation as the theme music faded and Jimmy Kimmel, with his signature grin, welcomed viewers to what promised to be an unforgettable episode. Tonight's guest was none other than Chris Hemsworth, the charismatic Australian actor known for wielding Thor's hammer with effortless charm, here to promote his latest blockbuster, a gritty sci-fi epic that had critics and fans alike buzzing. Jimmy kicked things off with his usual monologue, peppered with sharp-witted jabs at pop culture and politics, the audience roaring with laughter at his quips about the latest Hollywood scandals and Washington's never-ending drama. As he transitioned to introducing Chris, the energy in the room shifted up. There was something electric, almost palpable, about the anticipation. Chris strode out, all 6'3" of him, in a tailored navy suit, his trademark grin lighting up the stage as he waved to the crowd. The applause was deafening, a testament to his global star power. Jimmy, ever the showman, leaned into the moment, joking about Chris's godlike physique and how he must tire of being asked if he ever skips leg day. Chris laughed, his Aussie accent cutting through the room as he fired back with the self-deprecating remark about his gym obsession. The banter was light, playful, the kind of easy chemistry that late-night audiences crave. But beneath the surface, there was a flicker of something else, maybe a glint in Chris's eye, or a slight edge to Jimmy's tone that hinted this wasn't going to be just another promotional pit stop. As they settled into the interview, Jimmy pulled out a prop hammer, a nod to Thor, and challenged Chris to a mock duel, the audience eating up every second of the theatrics. Chris, ever game, swung the foam hammer with exaggerated flair, earning cheers. But when Jimmy asked about the new film, the mood shifted subtly. Chris's answers were polished but curt, as if he was holding something back. Jimmy, sensing an opportunity to dig deeper, pivoted to a question about the film's controversial director, known for his polarizing views on Hollywood's current state. Chris's smile tightened, and he deflected, saying he preferred to focus on the art, not the gossip. Jimmy, never one to let a guest off easy, pressed it further, asking if Chris agreed with the director's outspoken criticism of cancel culture. The audience leaned in, sensing the tension. Chris paused, his jaw flexing, before saying, "Mate, I'm here to talk about the movie, not to stir the pot." Jimmy chuckled, but his eyes gleamed with mischief, and he doubled down, pulling up a clip of the director's latest rant. The screen behind them lit up with the footage, and Chris's expression darkened. The audience, picking up on the shift, grew quieter, their laughter replaced by murmurs. Jimmy, sensing he'd struck a nerve, leaned forward, his voice dripping with faux innocence as he asked, "So, Chris, you're telling me you signed on to this project without a single reservation about this guy's baggage?" Chris leaned back, crossing his arms, his easygoing demeanor replaced by something steely. "Jimmy, I don't play morality cop for every project I take. I'm an actor, not a politician." The crowd gasped softly, and Jimmy's eyebrows shot up, his grin faltering for a split second. The exchange had taken a turn, and the air crackled with the kind of raw, unscripted energy that late-night TV thrives on. Jimmy, ever the provocateur, didn't back down, tossing out another question about whether Chris worried about backlash from fans for working with such a divisive figure. Chris's response was sharp, his voice low but firm. "If fans can't separate the art from the artist, that's their problem, not mine." The audience erupted in a mix of cheers and uneasy murmurs, and Jimmy, sensing the moment slipping out of his control, tried to pivot back to humor, cracking a joke about Thor's hammer not being enough to smash Hollywood's drama. But Chris wasn't laughing. He leaned forward, his blue eyes locked on Jimmy's, and said, "You know, mate, maybe you should stick to telling jokes instead of playing gotcha with my career choices." The crowd gasped again, louder this time, and Jimmy's smile froze. The tension was undeniable now, a live wire sparking between host and guest. The producers in the control booth exchanged nervous glances, knowing they were witnessing something that could either go viral or go horribly wrong. Jimmy, trying to regain the upper hand, quipped, "Well, Chris, I guess we know who's bringing the thunder tonight." The audience laughed, but it was a nervous laugh, the kind that fills an awkward silence. Chris didn't respond, just stared at Jimmy, his expression unreadable. The segment cut to commercial, But the buzz in the studio didn't fade. Whispers rippled through the audience. Had they just witnessed a genuine clash, or was this all part of the late-night game? Backstage, the crew scrambled to regroup, while social media was already lighting up with clips of the exchange, fans dissecting every word, every glance. This was no longer just an interview, it was a moment, one that would dominate headlines and X posts for days. As the show resumed, the question hung in the air: could Jimmy and Chris salvage the segment, or was this about to spiral into something neither could control? The commercial break did little to cool the heat radiating from the stage as Jimmy Kimmel Live returned, the audience still buzzing from the unexpected friction between Jimmy and Chris Hemsworth. The cameras rolled, catching Jimmy adjusting his tie, a forced smile plastered on his face as he welcomed viewers back, promising more fun with his guest. Chris, meanwhile, sat with his arms crossed, his posture rigid, the easygoing charm that had defined his public persona replaced by a guarded intensity. Jimmy, ever the professional, tried to steer the conversation back to safer waters, asking about Chris's experience filming in the Australian outback for his new movie. The audience, eager for a reset, clapped enthusiastically, hoping for the light-hearted banter they'd come to expect. Chris offered a few anecdotes about dodging snakes and battling dust storms, his voice steady but lacking its surlier warmth. Jimmy nodded along, chuckling a bit too loudly, as if trying to convince himself and the audience that everything was fine. But the undercurrent of tension was impossible to ignore. Jimmy, perhaps sensing that playing it safe wasn't working, decided to lean into the earlier spark, pulling out a stack of fan questions submitted via social media.